Good Friday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us, guys. We are live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network, the network powered by crazy fast internet, Ting Fiber Internet. Crazy fast internet. We're presented by Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Skooma Boutique Dispensary in the downtown mall, Charlottesville's newest dispensary. CBD, Delta 8, certificates of analyses on everything in the store. If you need help sleeping, managing anxiety, managing pain, Skooma Boutique Dispensary likely has something for you to help in any of those regards. Check them out on the downtown mall. Judah Wickower is our director. Looking forward to this interview. This gentleman, we're going to call him the funniest guy in Central Virginia.
Oh, geez.
Chris Allen in the house. Looking lean, mean,
No.
freshly cut.
Fresh do, fresh cut. Ray Cadell, Barber's Den. Check it out.
Ray Razors, we love you on this program,
Yes.
Ray Cadell.
Hi, Ray.
Mark Genie is giving Skooma some props. I agree with you, or excuse me, Mac Genie. All right, so where are we at, Chris? You got an album.
Yeah, I had an album come out 1 week ago today, so I'm excited. I've sold about 400,000 copies. I'm kidding. I'm excited, man. You know,
It's been in the works for a while.
It's been in the works for a while. When did I record it? I want to say I recorded it in what was it, April? Back in April, and I just going back and forth, editing it and everything like that. Finally got it done. It was supposed to come out in June, but they got backed up, and August 6th became the date. It came and passed, and all I can say is thank you so much to everybody that's gotten the album. I've gotten so many like really nice messages or responses from people. I've had a couple of my more famous buddies share it, so thank you to everybody who got it. If you downloaded it, streamed it, if you bought it, thank you so much. If you could go back and review it and rate it, that would be great, so we can push it up on the charts again. So, yeah, I'm excited, man.
So what's the album mean to you, man? I mean, it's been in the works for a while. You've managed COVID as a comedian.
Yeah.
To have an album, I mean, that's the real deal, right?
Yeah, it was. It was scary because, like you said, during COVID, I wasn't getting as many sets as I would have liked to have gotten before. But luckily, I did a weekend in Rochester at the Carlson right before, and I got comfortable on stage again. I felt good. I was confident in the jokes, and I went out to Raleigh the next weekend. I opened for Erica Rhodes. I had a great time, and it went well. I remember coming off stage that Sunday feeling great about it, and then like halfway through the editing process, I was like, this sucks, this stinks, I don't want to do it anymore.
But you're your harshest critic.
Yeah, but I spoke to the producer and my wife and a lot of my friends. They were like, dude, it's just because you've listened to it so many times. It's great, it's fine, you just got to knock it out. So, you know, with a lot of their help and just encouragement, I was able to sit down, get through it, knock it out. And it's here, and I'm happy, and I'm excited, and I'm proud of it.
Chris Hassenauer.
Yeah, Hassenauer
is giving you some props right now watching the program. You're
Thanks,
rubbing
buddy.
shoulders with the best of the best.
Oh, not Chris, not him. He's
but some big time comics.
Oh yeah, it feels good. It feels great. Chris is a good comic too. He's out of Rochester, so thanks for watching and listening, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. I went to New York to get on some podcasts, but it fell through. But I did some shows while I was out there, and I got to hang out with some really cool people, man. Michael Che from SNL, head writer. He's like, that's my dude, man.
He's big time.
Yeah. I say that's I don't know the guy like that, but like that's like what I'm shooting for, you know, that type of career where like he's one of those guys where when something happens, you're checking his social media. You know, if he has something to say, when he comes out with a special or he gets on stage, even comics run to see what Che is talking about. And that's what I want to be, man. I want to be one of those guys where there's something going on in the world. I'm on stage and other comics are like, we got to go see what Chris has got to say about, you know, what's going on in, I don't know, L.A. or New York or Cuomo or whatever it is. So I want to be one of those guys, man.
Chris laughed at your comment, and then he says your album is great.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
And he thanks you for the props. What do you learn from these global comics?
What do I learn? Just, you know what? Sounds weird, but this is what I learned. That they're just regular comics like everybody else. They just put in the extra work. the dedication. And they just kept searching until they found their niche, they found their voice, and they're successful. And I know they're kind of the exception and not the rule, but I feel like I have the skill set and the talent, the personality to be just as big as those guys. So, I mean, I just got to keep pushing forward, pressing, and writing and getting better and evolving as a comic, a person, a dad, and just getting better, man. Trying to be like you, Jerry.
Oh, come on now. The pandemic is starting to scare the shit out of me a little bit.
Now you're scared?
I mean,
when we came in here when it was full blown, you were like, I don't care, man. Feet on the desk.
The first time, I think one of the last shows we did in 2020 where we had in-person people was with you.
Oh, dude.
This was like early March 2020 before it shut stuff down, stopped the NCAA tournament and the ACC tournament.
I think the next day.
The next day. And I'm like, you know what? I think this might blow over. And Chris Allen, man with crystal ball-like vision, says, dude, this is real. What are you talking about here? I'm not shaking your hand, dude. And then 2020 got shut down. You called it.
We got shut down. You know what's funny? I remember that day pretty vividly. I went to Kroger right up here before I came to your show. It was weird, man, because like people were starting to freak out a little bit, and I bought a bunch of shit. And people were kind of looking at me like, "Oh, this guy's crazy. Nothing's gonna happen."
Would you like buy all the toilet paper?
I bought a bunch of canned goods and pastas and bottled water. Yeah, we stayed pretty stocked up on toilet paper. So, but yeah, it was weird, man. Because I want to say that same day after I went to the grocery store, I came here and did this. I get back to my house and we get an email from the school saying, "Hey, everybody needs to come pick their kids up." And that's when it became scary, is when they tell you to come get your kid from school. Yeah, I think it might have been like a Wednesday or something too, because they were like, "Oh, we're going to shut down for the rest of the week," and then it turned into like the full next week, and then another week, and then they were like, "Oh, they're not going back." Yeah.
Your little guy is what?
He's
7?
8. He'll be 9 in about a month.
Okay, so he means the world to you. I see the posts you do on social media. I can relate as a father myself.
Yeah.
My little guy's 3. How do you feel about the kids going back to school? I mean, your kid's in school now, right?
He's in school right now as we speak. He's wearing a mask. He went yesterday for the first day. I don't know if he watched any of the news or just saw any of the stories, man. Like these school board meetings were getting out of control, man. You had people chasing healthcare officials back to their cars, saying they know where they live, they're going to get them. I mean, there was one guy here in Greene County at my son's school board meeting saying that you were going to have to shoot him in the fucking head before him or his kids wear a mask. They were talking about rioting. They were talking about protesting at the school. And look, man, we saw a lot of protests and riots and stuff last year. And I'm not about people's businesses getting ruined, but honestly, I feel like if adults want to go out in the street and mix it up because they're not happy, I say have at it. I'm for a little bit of purge action. Like if adults want to come together and fight it out, hey, have at it.
So this is the COVID version of the OK Corral.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to say I condone any violence. Yeah. But the thing is, I'm okay with adults handling business how they want to. Of course, there's always a better way to do things. But if you want to go out in the street and yell at each other, protest, have at it. But the moment you start going to schools, and come on, man, you know where we live. You talking Greene County. I was like, some idiot's going to bring a gun. And the thing is, I'm very, very pro-gun. I think people should be able to carry them. But when you're talking about bringing it to a school and there's kids around, that's when I was just like, I think this could get out of control. And that's why we were very hesitant about our son even going to school this week. So, but we got an email from the principal, a personal email saying like, hey, everything was cool today. No one really showed up. So that's when my wife and I felt more comfortable with sending him to school. And yeah, it sucks to have to wear a mask, but look, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Right? There are worse things,
yeah.
Right?
Way worse things. And I applaud people who want to stand up for their personal freedoms. I'm a military guy. I believe in the Constitution. Yeah, do that. But I really just feel like at this point, there's really no rational reason behind people not getting it. I think
you're talking the vaccine
and even a mask. The thing is, it's like
you're vaxxed.
I'm vaxxed.
I'm vaxxed. He's vaxxed.
He's vaxxed. Yeah. Did I want one? No, but do I want to go out and make money and be able to go out carefree? Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, I want to be carefree.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's literally how I felt.
Yeah, it's just like, well, say you start dating somebody and get serious, y'all both take an STD test, y'all both are in the clear. Guess what? You're gonna enjoy yourself more because
Peace of mind.
you have a peace of mind. It's peace of mind. But I respect people that don't get it. That's completely fine. But you can't say none of this stuff works when you haven't tried anything. That's like a person like, oh, gyms don't work, dieting doesn't work. Have you tried any of that stuff to lose weight? No. Then how can you say it doesn't work? I don't know. It's just weird to me too. Like, take the wall. A lot of people want a wall, and they've said like, "Hey, man, a wall won't work." And these same people,
you're talking on the border.
On the border, these same people who want a wall won't wear a mask, but they'll go, "Hey, man, if we build this wall and spend all this money, we might be able to save a couple people's lives." It's just like, why can't you apply that same logic by wearing a mask? Even if it doesn't fully work, maybe it'll help one or two people. I mean, I don't want to pay for that shit, to be honest. But it's just weird to me how like people can just ignore their own logic in one case. You know what I mean?
Well, they manipulate the logic to serve the perspective they want.
It's a lot of cognitive dissonance is what they call it. I've been reading quite a bit about that. It's pretty wild.
Mike Todd said you're looking fresh.
Oh, thanks, Mike Todd. Veteran.
What do you make of the? So were you in New York this past weekend?
Yeah, last week I was there.
Okay, I was in Brooklyn this past weekend. And something that's happening in Brooklyn, he experienced this as well. My wife and we went to some bars. Before we can go into the bars, they said, we need to see proof of vaccination for you to come into this bar in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. It sounds like you experienced that.
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
I get it. It's their business. They have the right to do what they want to do. Just like, hey, like if Chick-fil-A has their policy on, gay marriage, they can voice their opinion. They can say what they want. You can either support them or not. And again, people will support Chick-fil-A. They will support Hobby Lobby. But if some liberal, libtard, or whatever you want to call them, business is like, hey, I want to see your vax card, now all of a sudden it's a problem. I will say, not a fan of it. I think it feels very, very weird. I don't like it.
Intrusive on rights?
It seems odd because it's like, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, but I get it. But again, I just don't understand these people who are like, I'm not showing them anything. I'm not showing any proof of vaccination. I'm not getting it. But then at the same time, they want other people to present ID to vote, which I get. But don't tell one group of people don't tell a group of people you're not a part of, so these rules won't affect you. Don't tell them like, hey, it's no big deal. Just comply. Just bring this paperwork. Just do this. Just do that. It's not a big deal. But then when it comes to you providing paperwork or showing some type of proof of whatever it is, now you have a problem with it. So it's just like, can you at least understand? I want to ask that person, can you understand why certain people might not want to really show their ID to vote or whatever it may be? Because I used to have friends that would say, well, if you're Hispanic, just carry your birth certificate around to prove that you're from here. It's just like, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
I don't carry my birth certificate
Neither
around.
do I.
So they were born here. Why should they? Because someone that has the same skin tone or or the same ethnic background, why should they have to carry? That's not cool. They're American. They shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean? You'll put a burden on them, but now the burden's on you to either wear a mask or show proof of vaccination. Now, all of a sudden, you want to talk about your rights. What about this person's rights?
Do we think it's going to be the norm? I mean, the Southern in Charlottesville, the Jefferson in Charlottesville have both said, starting on Monday, you can't get into our venues without proof of vaccination and or a negative COVID test in the last 48 hours.
Man.
I'm sure they're all going to follow suit, don't you think?
Yeah, eventually. It sucks. They're trying to protect their business, and the thing is, if you don't want to agree with it, just don't go. You know what I'm saying? Just don't go. If you don't agree, don't go. Don't
How
make
has
a
it
scene.
impacted comedy?
Not really at all, to be honest. I haven't really seen. I mean, you will have people who will argue about it, but they don't get in. I mean, it's just that simple. Again, I think it's very weird. I'm not a fan of it, but if you want to participate in things, hey, But if I feel like it's really violating my rights, I'll just stop going, and other people will. And guess what? That business will either change their policy or they won't.
So you're saying vote with your dollar?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. That's people do it all the time. They always say, "Oh, protests don't work," but the moment like conservatives don't get what they want, that's exactly what they do. They stop going to Targets and whatever businesses they feel like don't align with their values. They'll say it quickly. I'm not having any more Pepsi products in my house. That's completely fine. Vote with your money.
One of the things I love about your content is you take storylines that are topical and current events and weave it into your stand-up.
I tried to.
Into your comedy. It makes it good. It makes it intelligent. We learn from it.
Thank you.
It's relatable. Have you noticed, certainly in this past election, certainly now, how divided we are in this country from a left and right standpoint?
Yeah.
I mean, remember when, we're relatively the same age. The moderate, like the Ronald Reagans, the JFKs, the moderates in the middle, that's a thing of the past.
Right.
Now it's either you're far left or far right, but you can't straddle the fence.
Yeah. And I feel like most people are kind of in the middle.
Yeah. I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would describe you. I describe myself to everybody. I'm physically conservative, but socially liberal.
I feel like
I don't care who you marry.
Yeah,
I don't care what you smoke.
Yeah.
A woman should be able to do whatever the hell with their body.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't want the government in my pocket.
Yeah. Isn't that weird too? The same people that don't want women getting abortions are like with the mask. It's like in the vaccine, my body, my rules. I want to be like, doesn't that sound kind of familiar? You don't want the government getting involved in your medical decisions. And I'm not a religious person. My family is, I was born Christian. I have a lot of Christian people in my family. I respect Christianity. But the thing is, your religious beliefs should not impact somebody else's life. I'm sorry. We can agree that you can have your moral beliefs about abortion, but it's not your call. It's not your call. And if you're truly a Christian, the thing is, if you really believe this is a sin, this person's going to go wherever for this, that's for them to deal with, not you. And guess what? That was part of God's plan. All of a sudden, God is out the picture, because you hear people go like, oh, what if they abort the kid that was going to cure cancer? It's like, do you really? You think that's how God works? Like, hey, I sent the kid here, but I put him in a pregnant 15-year-old girl's body, and she aborted him. Sorry, guys. It's like, that's how you think the most powerful being in the universe operates? Just putting these brilliant minds only in pregnant teenagers and these liberal women who want to abort kids. You think that's how God works?
No, I don't think that's how it works.
It's like if God wants to cure AIDS or cancer or whatever it is, that person will get on this planet regardless of how we can't stop God's plan. He's going to get here. She's going to get here. It's a bad argument. It makes no sense.
Let's give Chris Allen some props on that.
Oh, gee. Oh, I got a little clap machine.
You got a clap machine.
I got a clap machine. I need that for my shows.
We're making upgrades here on the I Love CVille Network.
I see ya. That's spending big money.
Sarah Cadell watching. Sarah, you're A+ people.
Hi, Sarah.
Nathan Possum, Jake Vance, Patrick Henry, Brandon Johnson.
Hey, everybody.
Jordan Huggins, David Smith. 6 states watching the show. Mike adds, imagine being the business that gets tied to a spread of COVID. They are trying to protect themselves from the worst case scenario.
That's it.
Which I completely agree.
That's all it is. They're trying to protect themselves.
They're just trying to survive.
That's it. It's just the inconsistencies in this whole thing.
What do you make of the next 6 months? On yesterday's show, because you're pragmatic. You gotta tell me if I'm right here. You're pragmatic. You got a touch of paranoia.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, a touch of paranoia. You got a teensy bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
And a little smidge of doom and gloom.
Yeah, right.
All right, am I being accurate?
No, you're right, 100%, man.
So what does the Chris Allen crystal ball say for the rest of the year with what's to come?
Honestly, man, I've seen...
Have you thought about this, I'm sure?
I feel like we're going to get shut down again eventually. It's going to get... And my buddy Umar called it, too. He goes, what's going to happen? He goes, next summer, which is this summer, he was like, everybody's going to go out. It's going to be fine. And then next fall, we're going to get shut down again. So I think around like October, November, we might get shut down again.
So flu season.
Yeah, flu season. I think we'll get shut down again.
And what did we learn from the last one?
Honestly, we haven't learned anything, man.
You don't think we learned anything?
No.
Really?
Why are we still here?
You're saying on the set?
I'm just
saying.
Why are
we talking in person?
As a country, why do you think... I don't think America has learned anything.
Come on.
What do you think we learned? What do you think?
I don't think we've learned much.
I'll tell you this. You know what we learned? I think we've learned we're not as resilient as we say we are.
I think do you think the country's more divided than ever?
In my life, I would say yes.
Okay.
It's funny. I watched a Civil War documentary a while ago. It was the what's his name? He does all the long ones. What's his name? You know,
Judah's the smart guy.
He does all the like 8-part series. You know who I'm talking about, though, right? That guy. He did. No, not that guy. Not David Edinburgh. He's like a Ken Burns.
Oh, Ken Burns. Okay.
I watched this documentary.
Yeah, Danny Elizabeth just said Ken Burns. She also said that your guns are looking good.
Oh, geez.
Your wife said your guns are looking good. Danny says, I'm sitting at the spa waiting for my massage. Thanks to you, big brother. That's your sister right there.
Yes.
Multiple people are commenting on your guns over there. Evidently, we got a close-up of the man's triceps and biceps. Can we flex over there? Can you flex?
I got nothing, man.
No, I'm not BSing you, dude. Multiple people are saying this.
They know I'm self-conscious about my weight, and they're being jerks.
He looks good, doesn't he?
I'm no Judah, man. Look at Judah.
Dude, so go, Ken Burns. Multiple people are answering Ken Burns for you here.
Ken Burns.
And look, you're blowing up over here on
Ken
your phone.
Burns. Oh, so Ken Burns. And just seeing how divided the country was during the Civil War, it did. I go, man, this is where we're headed, man. This is where we're headed. So I would say this is probably the most we've been in my lifetime. I'm pretty sure people felt this way during the Civil Rights Movement in the 60s, but in my life, I would say, yeah, this is pretty wild. The internet,
social media
doesn't help. But here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing I'll say about social media. You can only blame the internet and social media to a degree, because at the end of the day, it is your choice, our own personal choice, to either believe what you're reading or not believe it, and to either share it or not share it. And the thing is, you see so many people that are like, the internet is dividing us. They're doing this. They're doing this to us. And they share shitty articles, fake news, just bullshit all the time. And I'm like, you can't blame the internet when you're being part of it. It's just no one really wants to own up to their shit, man. You can't. I hate it, man. It's just like some politician shares a meme that you like, or some random person does, and it's like, oh, look at these crime stats about black people. Then you find out it's not real, and you're never like, hey, my bad, that wasn't real. I was upset about X, Y, and Z, so I shared it, and my bad. No one does that. Hey, it looked real. That's all. I thought it was real.
How old are you?
41.
Okay, so we're basically the same age. What was our social media growing up? It was like, we had AIM, Instant Messenger. We had, what was the magazine, Judo, that we would read as kids? Was it Mad Libs?
Yeah, Mad Libs.
Mad Libs. You had Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stones.
Okay, what were we reading? What were we doing for our media as kids? MTV.
Yeah, MTV. Source rap magazines, like hip hop and rap magazines.
Yeah.
Any pop culture mags. I'm trying to think what else. And just Friends.
Like, we actually talk to people.
Yeah, Friends. Friends and magazines.
My buddy has a 16-year-old daughter, and she's in, I'm not going to use names, but she's in a relationship. Mm-hmm. She has not seen the guy in person in over 11 months.
Oh, wow.
But they Skype and they talk and they FaceTime every night.
That's not going to last.
Is that a relationship?
It's not going to. She's young. That's not going to last.
Do you think that's a relationship?
No.
What was ours when we were kids like that? Call the girl on the phone?
This call, you know what? I had a friend set me up with somebody over the phone before, and we talked, and we finally met. But yeah, it's really just infatuation. You know,
I used to call the girls that I had crushes on, call them, they would answer. Didn't have the confidence to talk, and I would just hang up. And I would do it again and again. And then someone star 69. Yeah.
That was the worst. He called my house and hung up 3 times.
She had her dad call, and the one time I didn't answer, my dad picked up, and the other dad said to my dad, your son is prank calling us in our house all the time. He pulled me aside and said, why are you calling Jennifer constantly? And then I go, I didn't know what to say when she picked up and said hello. Then he just hit his head on the forehead.
That's so funny, man. As a young teenage boy, just hearing like that girl you have a crush voice on the other line, it is daunting.
It was intimidating.
Yeah. You got to think of stuff to say. Yeah. Asking your friends what to say.
Yeah.
How do you talk to her?
What are you
do
going
I
to tell
say?
Miles of what to say?
Just be yourself. Find something in common.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got Ricky
Burns.
Yeah. Great convo.
Oh,
CJ.
thanks, man.
He's giving you some props here. Multiple folks are asking when your next show is because they want to come watch it. We will get to that in a matter of moments. So you think the rest of the year we're quarantining and on lockdown coming up?
I think we could get locked down again because DC, they're already implementing masks inside. It's only a matter of time, man, before they just say we can't do this anymore. Or unless they make it mandatory that you show your, I don't know, man. It's a tough call. It's a tough call, man. I think it should just be left up. Do you think it should be left up to who?
Well, I mean, I was going to ask your take on the advice you would give Florida and Texas. We had friends go to Miami that we were hanging with this past weekend, and they said in their trip to Miami that COVID basically does not exist.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't. I was in South Carolina and last summer. They had farmers markets. One lady actually tried to pull my mask off like after the show. I was like, "Don't do that." I was like, "That's very rude."
She went up to you and tried to
pull. Yeah, take that off. I'm like, "No," and leave me alone. That's the thing. It's just like they just can't. These and I'm all about freedom, but these people who are so hardline on it, they swear that they get ridiculed and they get picked on and made fun of for being a conservative, but they just can't let people make their own decisions. Like my wife was telling me that she hears people talking about how they make fun of people when they see someone wearing a mask, but then those same people will turn around and, I'm being called racist because I'm a Trump person, or because it's like you're doing the same, you're being shitty. You don't have the right to complain when you're also shitty to other people. You don't. It's just like you talk shit and then you play the victim. I don't like it. I hate it.
Your better half. Remember when that lady tried to hug and kiss Miles in North Carolina?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, some homeless woman.
What?
Yeah, because she was asking for money. We gave her 20 and she hugged Miles, man. And I freaked out, man. I freaked out.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I was just like, okay, let him go. But I wasn't like, what the? I didn't do that because she was obviously a drug addict and she probably bought drugs with it, but she was extremely happy. I have no idea when the last time this woman had any human contact. I could tell like she needed this hug, and I was just like, I was freaking out, but I was just like.
Was he?
He's not a big hugger, so he was kind of like, and I was like, okay, thank you, we appreciate it, but you can tell she really wanted that hug. That money was like, she needed that, man. She felt really good. But
would you feel comfortable doing a show in Florida right now?
I'm vaxxed. The thing is, it's over for me. Jerry, I felt like I did the right thing. And this whole thing of going back to mask, and I feel like it's not fair to the people who did the right thing. You stayed inside, you social distanced, you wore a mask. Even if you didn't, you social distanced from people. And you got the vaccine, and here we are asking. I saw Fauci last night. We're asking you to go the extra mile. So like, why is it always a certain select group of people that has to go the extra mile, for everybody else?
Oh, so you're saying the vaxxers, us who has gotten vaccines,
now
we're being asked to go the extra mile.
And wear a mask, for those who just refuse. And it's just like, I'm done. I think we spoke about this before. I'm done with the olive branches. I'm done feeling sympathy or trying to understand people who will not reciprocate.
So now you say, just let them die.
Hey.
Darwinism.
That's what they wanted. That's what they've been saying from the get-go. And God forbid, I just don't want to see children being affected.
Yeah, me either. That's what I'm worried about.
That's what's scary, man.
Because we both have kids that are unvaxxed.
Yeah, and we've dodged a bullet. Because when this thing first started, I'm an adult. It's like I obviously care about myself, but if something happened to me, that's fine. If it happens to adults, that's fine. We're adults. That's what we're here for. But before this kicked off, I was like, please God, do not let this affect children like disproportionately, because that's the last thing we want to see in this country. Is just that.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I feel like, man, I hate to be grim, but I felt like we pressed our luck and pressed our luck. I feel like it could get ugly because we just didn't heed all the other warnings. People are blowing it off. And I think sometimes you have to suffer the worst consequences for people to finally go, you know what? We should get vaccinated. And unfortunately, man, I think it's going to cost us some of our children in this country, man.
So you think this is an interesting
I was trying to find a way to not say it without saying it.
Well, no, but you make a good
It's
point.
very dark, man.
You're basically saying until this impacts truly our most vulnerable population, which is our kids, that's what's going to be needed to inspire people that haven't gotten vaccinated.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I'm not
if not, those people are terrible, horrible people.
Yeah. Isn't it weird though? Because again, I'm a gun guy. I'm not about all these super suppressive gun laws and all this kind of stuff. But you would think people would at least pretend to care after something like Sandy Hook. And people were like, don't give a shit. Fuck you. My guns, my guns, my guns. But isn't it weird? You had a grown man walk into a elementary school and just kill 20 kids, right? And these patriots, people who love America, were like, nah, fuck these kids. I want my guns. I'm a gun guy, but I could never say anything like that. But when it comes to, we talk about personal choice, when it comes to weed, those same people are like, what about the kids? We don't want kids smoking weed. It's like somebody walked in with an AR-15 and pumped rounds into children, and they're like, hey, man, maybe we should kind of do something with the gun laws. Man, fuck that shit. I want my gun. But when it comes to weed, you're like, we got to protect kids. When it
comes to the mask?
When it comes to the mask, fuck that. And here's what's another thing that's funny about the mask. These same people who don't want their kids to wear a mask are always like, all these kids in America are fucking pussies. They're entitled. They're not tough. They need to toughen up. These are the same people at these school board meetings like, my kid can't wear a mask. It hurts their face. They can't breathe. They can't breathe in a mask. I'm like, I thought you thought these kids were weak. So what you're part of the problem, dude. You say these kids are weak, and then you're at a school board meeting crying that your kids can't wear a mask because it hurts their face and they can't breathe, and you can't breathe because you have to wear a mask. And here's another point I would like to make. You remember when Eric Gardner got choked out by the police?
Yeah.
And he was saying, I can't breathe? What were all these assholes saying? Hey, if you can breathe, if you can talk, you can breathe. Well, guess what? If you're in a mask and you can fucking talk, you can fucking breathe. So I don't want to hear any of your excuses about you can't breathe in a mask. It hurts your fucking face, and everybody else is a pussy because you won't even wear a mask. You right-wing tough guy.
Chris Allen getting after it right here, and he's getting props from a lot of people watching the program.
That's so tough.
Miguel Cologne,
Cologne,
giving you some props. Paige Campbell. Hello, you got 6 states watching the program.
6 states.
With 6 states, why don't we plug why don't we get the word out about the album? And then I got some more topics for you. Talk album, though.
So, my album is out. It came out last week. Again, thank you guys so much for all the love and the support, all the great messages. It's out everywhere. I think he's going to throw it in the chat. There's a link. It's on iTunes, Bandcamp, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere that they're streaming, it's there. So if you have streamed it, please go back, review it, leave a comment, give it however many stars you feel it warrants. I would like 5.
Scott Aaronworth, Virginia Beach attorney. I love it. With
thanks,
7
buddy.
exclamation points after the I love it for you. Ricky's giving you the fire. Grayson's giving you the fire here. Laura Sherling saying, share the link to the album,
Share
Jerry.
the link,
All right,
Jerry.
I just put it in the Chris Allen chat box. I'll put it on the other 14 Facebook pages. Keith Irvin says, the album is off the hook.
He owes me $8, Keith Irvin does.
Keith, you owe him $8.
Yeah, he knows why.
I'm gonna share the link. You give us what else is on that big, beautiful brain of yours over there, Chris Allen.
I want my $8 from Keith.
Why does he owe you $8?
Well, yeah, dude, this happened like 8 years ago. We went to lunch one time. We had Chinese food for lunch. It was great. The bill came, and he forgot his wallet.
Oh.
Forgot his wallet. And he was like, I'll get you back. It's been 8 years, and this motherfucker has not given me my $8 back.
Keith, give him his 8 Bs, man.
Should I charge him interest?
I think you probably should.
Judah, interest?
Judah says yes for the interest. We're trying to get Judah to talk into the microphone and use the camera.
You know what? Judah got a haircut a while back, and he's
too cool for school.
Too cool for everybody. He thinks he's too goddamn cute for everybody. Oh, yeah.
Multiple folks are asking for the link to the album. All right, I'm putting the link
He's
in the
gonna put
album
it in
now.
there.
What do you? This question's got people wanting some more feedback from.
Oh, boy.
So if you have 10 minutes with the governor of Florida, is that DeSantis? What do you say to the governor of Florida?
Look, I'm not going to pretend like I know. It's a complicated issue. It's very complicated. My thing is, this is also something that pisses me off. And let me just say this. I do not hate Republicans. I do not have an issue with conservative people. It's just the fake-ass right-wing tough guys. It's just the people on the far right that talk a lot of shit. Those are the people I hate. Just like I hate this.
You poke fun at the far left, too.
Yeah. The super bleeding heart liberal,
Yeah.
I hate that too. It's phony. It's all phony. I can't govern. I'm not going to act like I would know what to do. But what I don't like is when they come out with a mandate saying that they can't have any mask mandates. It's just like, you say leave it up to local governments, and then your governor comes out with a law and handcuffs all the different towns and cities. Leave it up to the local government.
I agree.
Leave it up to local people.
Yeah.
Like I'm from New York, so I heard a lot about the stuff that was going on in New York City. I'm from Rochester, and the thing is, when you go to New York City and you see how many people are there, and you know what New York City is like, dude. I felt like I was in a I felt like that before the pandemic, but now you're very aware of railings that you're touching.
Yeah,
places
touching
that
everything.
You're like, man, this is fucking gross,
Dude,
man.
My wife, so I took the train to Penn Station, then I hopped a cab from Penn Station to Brooklyn, and met her at the hotel we were staying at, and she had to take.
Buddy, you got to hop on the R. You got to get off that. You got to get off the cabs, buddy. You got to take the R over to New York.
I was going to do
Brooklyn.
that, but my wife got nervous.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, and she couldn't find a cab because the cabbies are down like half the cabs in the city of New York now than before COVID, because they just gave up the cabs and the medallions.
Yeah, and they kind of hang around Midtown and Times Square.
Yeah, where the tourists are.
Yeah, you don't really see them. Like once you get up past Central Park, it's hard to see. It's hard to find a cab.
Right. Yeah. So Uber's becoming much more popular now in New York because of it. She rode the subway, and she said she basically had a panic attack on the subway.
Dude, it is a shit show down there. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2", 260 pounds.
With guns, evidently,
with
to
big
the
guns,
people that are watching.
I was catching the.
We're talking about his arms.
Yes. I was catching, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to get back up
3
to
a.m.
3 a.m.
on the subway?
I'm waiting on the platform, and like these MTA workers are walking the track and stuff. And I'm talking to them, I'm like, dude, are y'all not scared being down there? This last week, I realized as an adult, the scariest place on earth is when you look back into the subway tunnel, you go, what the fuck is back there? Subway tunnels are terrifying, and they come walking out. I'm like, y'all not scared? They go, you get used to it. You just gotta be careful. But we talked for a few minutes, and they go, you realize you're on the wrong platform, man. Like, there's no train coming. Because the trains, they get really weird at night, like around 2 or 3.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is cut off and all
They
this kind of
stop running.
stuff. They stop running.
Yeah.
You gotta make a lot of roundabout ways to get.
Taking the subway after midnight is ballsy.
It's ballsy, man. Especially like when you get late, 2, 3 in the morning. Dude, there's nobody down there. It's just, you'll get down to a station and it's just random people just sleeping. And it's just like, when they told me that, they go, there's no train coming, man. On this side, you got to go up, around, and come back to this side. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I already been down here a half an hour. I was like, I'm just going to take an Uber. And I just took an Uber. And I was surprised because last time I took Ubers in New York, they were like $40, $50. It was only $17.
Yeah,
and I was
because there's
like,
more out there now.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, that's not completely crazy. Because, dude, I've taken $40, $50, $60 Ubers in New York, and I'm talking just going a mile and a half or 2 miles. I can't afford that shit, man. I'm not rich, but yeah, dude. At that point, I was like, I'm taking an Uber, man, because I think I've rolled the dice a few times that week, being in New York and being on the subway 2 or 3 in the morning, man. You can't. That's the thing about that city, dude. You can't fucking relax. I mean, you get on the subway at 3 in the morning, you got to keep your head on a swivel, man. Especially if you're on a train in a car by yourself. You're like, anybody could come on here. Anybody.
My wife was on the subway, and guys, we'll get to these comments here in a second. My wife was on the subway. She was sitting next to someone, non-masked. She said was coughing up a storm left and right.
They don't care.
Crowded car. Half the car was not masked.
Yep.
Half of them were coughing. She's like, I basically had a panic attack on the train. She goes, this is what life is in New York. You just don't care.
Yeah.
But still, the energy.
Yeah, it's still there.
Is there. I thought the city was recovering.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was.
It's not going anywhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember
New York is dead.
Yeah.
It's not dead.
That's
New
what I
York's
was gonna
going
throw you.
nowhere. No.
Was it Jerry Seinfeld who penned the article about New York is not going to die? It was one of the.
Oh yeah, it
comments
was
there.
Seinfeld.
It was
Yeah, it's
Seinfeld,
not going to die. It's going to look different. I mean, New York just keeps evolving. It's going to be fine. You know, yeah, dude. It's just, I love that city. I love it, man.
North Garden Grayson has this comment. Jerry, I saw your guest at the Southern about 18 months ago. When is he going to be back at a Charlottesville stage so we can go watch him?
Oh, well, I do a mic at the Southern every Monday, so I'm there every Monday. I got no new material, so you're going to watch me, come watch me bomb at these mics as I build my new hour.
What's going to be the material based on moving forward?
You know what? I've been saying this. I'm excited because the album's done, and now I have the freedom to do whatever I want. I can be one of these guys who sits down on the stool and do more long-form stories about my life, but I want to incorporate what I've learned about myself into my stand-up. I learned a lot about myself over quarantine. I learned
like
a lot, just how similar my son and I are, just the similarities. Like just the other day, we have to remind him constantly, like, hey, buddy, when you get done, take your plate, clean it, put it in the dishwasher. Okay. Or when you're done, I need you to go upstairs and take a bath or take a shower, whatever. Okay. You leave him alone for 15 minutes, and you'll go check the bathroom. He's not in the bathroom. You go in his room, he's doing something totally different. And it's like, hey, man, you got to stay on task, man. I told you a half an hour ago, you're supposed to be in bed by now. He gets sidetracked. So, and I realize I do the same fucking thing, Jerry. He'll go, Dad, I'm ready for lunch. I go, okay, what do you want? Nuggets, mac and cheese? I'll get in there. My wife will text me, or like, I got to clean something in the kitchen. Next thing you know, I'm on Facebook, or I'm mopping, or I'm sweeping something. And he'll go, Dad, what are you doing? You're supposed to make me lunch. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I do the same thing to him. So I say all that to say, like, whenever I give him directions and he doesn't follow through with them, or he loses track of time, I'm way more patient because I do that to him, and all the time. And it's not that I don't love my son. It's not that I'm not a good dad. It's just we have the same freaking brain, man. I get sidetracked easily. You know, like when I'm doing stuff for him, I have to constantly say, stay on task, make the lunch. Don't get distracted. I do one thing, and next thing you know, I'm off, man. And I forgot that I'm supposed to be making him lunch, or yeah, stuff like that, man.
Christopher Friedman's wants your take on legalized weed. He says, Jerry, I've seen Chris on your show multiple times. The dude is hilarious. You got to bring up weed with Chris.
I think it's great. I think it's great. It's about time. If you haven't tried it, do it. It's great.
You don't want to add anything else to that?
It's just wild how demonized it's become. I'm not gonna say who specifically. I don't want to out them, but I had a older family member who was having some arthritic pain in their knees, and their kids got them some edible cookies, and they were like, I can't do it. You know, the older generation, they look at weed like it's crack or heroin. You know, my mom had a friend. She recently passed away. Rest in peace. To her, they gave her like some basically like weed pills while she was in the hospital. She was dying of cancer, and her religious guilt wouldn't allow her to take these pills, but she finally did, and she would feel good, and there was guilt because there was peace. You know, that sucks where you have people so tied up in their religion that like any type of feeling good physically is seen as a sin, or like you give it into your flesh. It's like you're dying of cancer, you're in pain, and you don't want to take this medicine to make you feel good. Like, you think God's gonna be mad because you took a weed pill on your last few days on earth? But this person in my family,
I don't think God cares about that at all.
At all.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just
God wouldn't have made it if it was bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's wild.
It's from
man.
the earth.
It's wild, man.
We got my father-in-law on. He hadn't slept through the night in 20 years. Had not had a full night's sleep in 20 years. We now got him about a month ago on the gummies. He is sleeping
there you go,
like
see?
a rock all night, every night.
Nice.
He takes one of these.
That's great. And
his body feels better.
That's awesome.
He doesn't have
man.
the pain in the back.
That's awesome, man. And that's what because my family does have some alcoholism in there, and people with ADHD are more prone to addiction, which is something I have to be very aware of, and I talk to Miles about
because we do things to the extreme.
Yes, because the way he plays video games and all that kind of stuff.
Does he go balls to the wall when he's playing?
Oh yeah, he
like a bender.
It's all day, every day.
Yeah.
Like he gets home, boom, puts on YouTube. We got Nintendo playing on TV all day. He's playing Nintendo. He's obsessed with it. And I just tell him, like, hey, at 8 years old, I tell him, hey, when you get older, some of your friends might ask you to drink alcohol or try other things. I was like, pills and all that kind of stuff, you never want to do. I was like, but people with ADHD, we have to be careful because we can get addicted to things easier. And he's 8 years old, and I try to instill that in him now. And I have to tell myself that, like, hey, I got to be careful. Like, I have to be, if I do partake in cannabis, I have to be very pointed. Like, all right, if I want to write or something like that, I find a nice sativa. I'm tired, give me a nice indica. It give you a nice high. You get a body buzz. And then, like, I guess you can call it a crash because, you've had weed before. Like, there's some that makes you really, really tired when you come down from it. And there you go. During the day, you take your sativa, you're right, you're clean, you do whatever you're going to do throughout the day. You get that mental boost, and at night, you have a nice indica.
Indica, and you go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. You can
chill.
Right. And you know what it does for me, too, man? Like,
levels you out.
It levels me out, and it allows me to be in the pocket because my brain is going 10,000 miles an hour all the time. It slows me down. It allows me to be in the moment and just not anticipate. That's my problem too. I anticipate what people are going to say in conversations, and it really hinders the progress of that conversation, especially with my wife if we're talking about something serious. But if I'm medicated, man, I can tell myself, hey, shut the fuck up, man. Stop trying to figure out what she's going to say and just be in the moment. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the company of your wife. Because I would say, man, a few months ago, man, like, she's never heard me say this, but throughout the pandemic, I really didn't get a lot of time to myself.
She had Miles.
Miles, preparing stuff for him, helping her out. She didn't get time to herself as well. But so I value my nighttime. Like, I was staying up to 3, 4 in the morning. I just valued the time to myself downstairs. And there were a few weeks I would get upset. My wife, she would come back downstairs. I'm like, why is she coming down here? I want to be by myself. I don't want anybody down here. But, dude, once I embraced her coming downstairs and was like, this is your wife, man. You love her.
And it's her home.
Yeah, it's her house. It's like she wants to spend time with you. She's not going to break your balls. Like, my brain is just, I felt like, oh, she's going to yell at me about this. I can't do this. I want to watch this. I was being selfish, man. And the weed was like, hey, this is your fucking wife, man. Stop it. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And, man, I would say for like 2 or 3 weeks, she would come down. Dude, we would have the best conversations, man, that we would talk about what it was like when we first met. And it's just like, I fell in love with her all over again. It's like, oh, this is why I married this person. It made me realize what I really had. Like, I will say, man, it's helped me out a lot. It has its downside. For people to say it's not addictive, that's not true. Who doesn't like to feel relaxed and chill all the time? You pick the wrong ones, you can overeat and all that type of shit. But, dude, it's just cool, man. I enjoy it.
Laura Duff says, COVID was the best thing that's ever happened to marijuana. I found this during quarantine, and I like it way better than alcohol. The only side effect is I've added some weight to my frame.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you do your research, there's
different strains.
There's strains that actually suppress your appetite. There are some that make you hungry. You really have to know what you're smoking. Because I like, if somebody's like, yo, you want to smoke this? I always, what is it? What strain is it? People, it's just weed. It's like, I want to know I like to know.
Well, that's 'cause
I'll look
you're,
it up, man.
You're a heady guy. You're an intellectual.
I try to be responsible with it. You know what I mean? I try to be responsible.
Well, how does does the average Joe know what strain it is?
I asked, like, I won't buy anything from. I get my stuff in DC.
DC, right?
Yeah. So I look up strains. What does this do? Oh, okay, cool. You know, I like to use it for what it's intended for, man. Like, I'm a big Jack Herrera. If you ever had Jack Herrera,
No.
It's a great strain. That's one of my favorite strains.
Okay.
It's a great sativa, man. So it's a little racy up top, where your thoughts are going just like crazy. But I give myself something to focus on, and then once that raciness kind of subsides, my brain wants to work on things. That's when I write. I do my podcast, stuff like that. If I got stuff I need to do outside or around the house, I get a little sativa, man. Dude, one time I shoveled like a part of my street one time. I had a nice sativa. I went out there, shoveled my entire driveway. You know how you get the street a little bit too? Dude, I went down like 50 feet.
You were helping the neighbors.
I shoveled like part of my street.
That's great. That's great. Mike Todd, we just need the government to catch up and just treat it like alcohol. Not while working, no driving. I need it so badly, but the rules need to be the rules and the right rules.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I would get involved with that, but I think there are already people working on it. I don't think it's fair that it's not approved for a veteran at all.
It's not?
No, they would the VA would never prescribe it or anything like that.
Well, is it the NBA doesn't test anymore for it?
Are they going back to that?
I thought they weren't testing.
I know during the pandemic they weren't. I don't know if they went back to it, but
the NFL Players Association is begging that to not be an issue for football players because most of them swear by it for pain management.
Look at what's his name? Josh Gordon?
Yeah, wide receiver, used to play for the Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in and out of the league constantly for either booze or some kind of drug infraction.
Right.
I mean, the dude's got talent.
He does. And it's so funny when you hear people like, he just can't stop smoking weed. I'm like, you obviously never smoked weed before.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. What was the movie, Judah, that they made that they demonized it? It was...
Concussion?
No, it was, demonized pot. Yeah. Back in the days from the 50s. Put it on the feed, guys, if you know the movie I'm talking about. Or J-Dubs, if you could look that up.
Somebody told me that's why they gave it a Hispanic name as well. They called it marijuana.
Really?
They tried to tie it to Hispanic people. They're trying to make it seem, yeah.
Huh.
They do a lot of weird stuff.
Mondays at the Southern.
Yes, Mondays, 8 o'clock. Yeah, if you ever want to try stand-up, it's show up and go up. Sign-up start at 7 o'clock. Show starts at 8:05. So yeah, it's free. Come on. Like he said before, starting Monday, you have to have proof of vaccination. Please, do not yell at me about this. This is not my policy. It's not my rule. I'm respecting the Southern and their policy. If you don't want to do it, just don't show up because I don't want to be.
Yeah, you're not the bouncer of the proof of vaccination.
Yeah, that's not my job.
That's not your job.
I'm there to tell jokes. I'm not about to get into a physical altercation about a vaccination card with people. It's just, to me, it's not worth my life.
6 people have just put on the feed
Reefer Madness.
Yeah, Judah got it too. We just got Reefer Madness from 6 people on the feed. Keith said, "I will be there on Monday with your $8."
Cool.
That's literally what he just said. Plug the album one more time.
Yeah, it's called Off Script. It was done through the Helium people. Thanks so much to the people at Helium. It's on every platform, streaming platform, iTunes, Bandcamp, Spotify. What's some other ones like Stitch? This is not Stitcher, but all of them. Amazon,
Apple
iTunes, all that stuff. It's up there. Yeah, check out my podcast as well. Negro Police Radio. It's every Friday. It's a new episode up. There's another podcast I do with my buddy Winston Hodges called the Host Battle Podcast. And I do another one. It's every Tuesday on my YouTube page. I do one called Do You Believe? It's a religious podcast about people and their religious journeys, either in and out of faith. I was doing it with my sister, but she's got a lot going on right now. She just bought a townhouse, so she's very, very busy. So it's just me, and I'm talking to people who either fell out of their religious faith or they grew up in it and got out of it, and they're kind of back into it. So, and it's not a religion. It's not a religion podcast that bashes religion. It's just to find out where people fell out or got into it, and just to discuss it, how it affected their lives and how it affected their psyche and how it affected them as a human being, because it really does. There's a lot of people out here that have religious trauma, and they never talk about it. And it's just very interesting to sit and talk to people about their religious trauma, because I've experienced it, and it's just interesting to kind of to talk and bond over it. Yeah.
He is, guys, Chris Allen. His comedy is heady.
I've been talking too much.
I think you're a great interview, dude.
Oh, geez.
I mean, we're an hour in.
Oh, geez.
It flies by with you.
You gotta go.
I think
my wife says the same with sex. I'm kidding. Right, Judah?
Right, Judah. Oh God, Chris Allen, Mondays at the Southern. I put the link to the album in the feed, guys.
Yes.
Support the people that are working hard and pursuing their dreams, please. And he certainly is doing it. We got to get you back on.
I would love to. I'll come in.
I very much enjoy when you come on the show.
Anytime you want me here, I'll be here, sir.
Okay, we will do that, and we'll have some. I'll save that comment till all
right. Okay.
We'll talk off here on that. Judah Wickhauer, Chris Allen, Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille Show. Buy his album, guys.
Yes.
Give him a follow on social media. Support what the man is doing. He is pursuing his dream of being a global brand, and damn it, he is going to absolutely do it. His name is Chris Allen.
Yes.
I am Jerry. He is Judah. We are back on Monday at 10:15 with the Monday Market Monitor, a look at the real estate market from over the weekend, and of course the I Love CVille Show at 12:30. Thank you to Skooma Boutique Dispensary, Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Thank you to Ting Fiber Internet and every sponsor that you see on screen for making the show possible. This is the I Love CVille Show. You guys have a good weekend. Take care.
Yeah. Yes.
Judah, good call.